Namaste to the east, namaste to the west. Hi friends, welcome to the Krishna in West Germany channel. And today we want to share some thoughts on the Palestinian-Israel war, but not from my mind and from so many minds. There are so many opinions, political viewpoints out there. No, today we want to share some thoughts from the Bhagavad-gita and give some light on that horrible conflict there from the perspective of the Bhagavad-gita. So I'm reading every day from the Bhagavad-gita as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I recommend you this particular edition. And I also can recommend this comprehensive study guide by H.D. Goswami. Very, very nice book if you really want to study the Bhagavad Gita. I personally read it in the German language, wie sie ist, as it is, because I am half Danish, my body actually, not I, the soul, but my body in this lifetime is half Danish, half German. And that is interesting because both countries in World War II, there were opponents. And when I was a child and I went to Denmark to visit my grandma, my Danish grandma, and I could make a first-hand experience of what it means to become hated just because I was from another country. My grandma there, near her house, there was a playground, and some kids were playing there in my age. And I thought, hey, I don't want to get bored here for 1 or 2 weeks during this holiday here at my grandma's house. I, of course, want to play with those kids there. So I went there, I went over to that playground, and they found out, hey, this boy, I was 10 years maybe old, he's from Germany. Okay, we can try to play with him, interesting. And we had a wonderful afternoon, actually. We had a wonderful afternoon. And I was so happy. I just found new friends there in Denmark. And next day I couldn't wait to quit breakfast just to play with my new friends there. So then I came to that playground, and all the kids, they were very quiet when I arrived, and they showed me, hey, we don't want to play with you anymore. Get out of here. So I was quite shocked and surprised. I asked them, hey, what's the problem, guys? Yesterday we had a wonderful time here together. What is wrong with you? And then the eldest, he said, the problem is that you are a German pig, and we don't want to play with German pigs. So I was shocked. And I left the playground, went back to my grandma's house. Yeah, and some of my Danish relatives, they observed that whole scene from the window, and they explained to me, look, that is bad fortune for you. But these kids there, they have parents. They very much still remember World War II, Denmark versus Germany. And somehow they are still full of hate against Germany, that they told their kids not to play with this German boy. So that was a very harsh experience for me. And I could understand that just because people are different, they have a different language, different color skin, and different culture and different religion, people start hating each other. So that is very stupid. And the Bhagavad-gita says in the 18th chapter, let me read this amazing shloka or verse to you. Shlokas 21 and 22 in the 18th chapter. Pritaktvena tu yakyanam nana bhavan pritak vidhan veti sarveshu bhuteshu tatyanam vidhirajasam. That knowledge by which a different type of living entity is seen to be dwelling in different bodies is knowledge in the mode of passion. So when we don't see the eternal spiritual soul in all living entities, in all these different bodies, but vice versa, we see only the different bodies, the differences, but we cannot see that the soul within in all these species and bodies are qualitatively of the same value, then we are, according to Bhagavad-gita, in a type of consciousness that is called Rajoguna, the mode of passion, rajas. Much better it would be if we would be positioned in the mode of Sattva Guna, in the mode of goodness. And the verse, just one verse before, it is said, Sarva bhuteshu yenaikang bhavam avyayam ikshate avibhaktang vibhakteshu takyanam vidhisatvikam. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all existence, undivided in the divided, is knowledge in the mode of goodness. So that is the spiritual vision we should strive for, that we see in all living entities, despite of their culture, religion, color, skin, whatever, we should see the same spiritual nature within. The soul, the eternal soul, the part and parcel of the supreme soul, God. All these souls are of the same divine spiritual quality. There is no soul of more value than another. So I personally got a glimpse of hatred just because I or my body was from another country. So this is the same here. We see here in Israel and Palestine, but just on steroids, or on a much bigger, horrible scale. But the principle is the same, that we somehow start hating someone just because he is from another country, or he belongs to another culture, or believes in another. He believes in the same God, often, mostly, 99% 100%, but just in another way. He prays differently, he or she eats differently, different songs, different language, different book. But when we have a closer look, it is just another way of approaching God. But somehow people, especially in this Kali Yuga, in this age of Kali, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, people very easily and quickly start hate each other for some actually insignificant differences. So that is what also the Bhagavad-gita is teaching, that when we are in the mode of goodness, sattva guna, we see all living entities as part and parcels of the same spiritual energy. That is still an impersonal vision. We can go a step higher. We see all living entities as children of God, even animals, even plants. Everything that lives is somehow children of God. In the spiritual guna of sattva, we can see that. Conflict or war, we can call it, or terrorism. Actually, there was a famous actor, his name was Sir Peter Ustinov, a very, very famous British actor. And he said, terrorism is the war of the poor, and war is the terrorism of the rich. Let this sink in for a second. We cannot call terrorism something bad and call war something good. Both are in some sense terrorism on different scales according to your budget, practically most of the time in this age of Kali. To throw bombs and rockets on buildings, and you know that in those buildings are also women, children, old people, helpless people. So you can also go with some parachute aeroplane or what they call it. It is, it is more person to person. And that sometimes looks very horrible if one person goes to another person with a gun or with a knife. But to throw some bomb or some rocket from 20 kilometers and you cannot see that person who pushed the button, that doesn't make the deed or the action less horrible. It is the same pain, it is the same cruelty. This we should keep in mind. But in the Bhagavad-gita, we learn that we, the spiritual soul, we are actually eternal. And we are the soul. We are the soul. Remember, please. We travel from one body to another. Actually, in this lifetime, dehinus min yata dehe, kaumaram yauvanam jara, tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhuyati. Even in this lifetime, in this one lifetime, we are traveling through various bodies. We start with a very infant body, then traveling through a child body, teenage body, then young adult, then we are a grown-up person, and then we're traveling through the body of a dwindling person, getting old and sick, and at the end, there's actually an interesting picture here. You can see how this circle is going on lifetime after lifetime. And modern science, medical science, has also found out that after approximately 7 to 11 years, this body, your body, my body, is changing all the little cells. We have billions of cells in our bodies, and it is happening very slowly. We will not recognize or notice it. It takes years, 7 to 11 years, after we, the soul, are in a totally new body. So after, let's say, 33 years, soul has already traveled through 3 whole bodies. So in the Bhagavad-gita, chapter 8, verse or shloka 6, there is a very interesting information we get from Lord Krishna. Yang yang vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tang tang eva iti kaunteya sada tat bhava bhavitaha. The English translation: whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. So in other words, at the time of death, the state of our consciousness is the cause of to what new destination the soul goes and where the soul takes birth in the next lifetime. So when we think of good things at the time of death, we will attain those positions. Actually, Lord Krishna, in one shloka before, he says that a soul, a person who thinks of me, of God, at the time of death, that person will come to the planet or to the kingdom of God. But that is a very high level of consciousness, because generally people are so immersed in worldly, mundane thoughts about their family affairs, about their business, there was once a person in Germany dying. The last thing he was asking for to the nurse was, please tell me which football club has won the championships. And unfortunately, it was the wrong club. So he was so disappointed. He got a heart attack in the hospital. He was already very sick. And his last words he spoke, he uttered, was the name of that football club. Schalke 04. That is a famous German football club. So, according to the Bhagavad-gita, he might become a bird or a dove flying over the stadium of that Schalke football club in the next lifetime and watch all the soccer games that might happen. So back to our original theme here, the Palestinian-Israel war. It is also said that when we think of our enemy full of hatred at the time of death, according to Bhagavad-gita, we, in our next lifetime then, the soul may take birth in the body within the land of the enemy. So, and then, because the hatred is still there, we take our hatred in our next life, then we projecting the same hatred to the other country, to the other side. As long as we do not get rid of our hatred in our heart, we will take this hatred wherever we go in every next lifetime, and we are directing that hatred to a new object, be it some other country, some other religion, or some people in the neighborhood. So the Bhagavad-gita recommends that we should get rid of our hatred. Otherwise, we will take birth lifetime after lifetime. This lifetime may be on the left side or the eastern side of that iron border, fighting against the people who living on the western side. And then in the next lifetime, we might take birth in the land of the western side of that border, fighting people who live on the eastern side. And this might change lifetime after lifetime when we think full of hatred on our so-called enemies. Actually, the real enemy is within, is this hatred. So spiritual life means that we purify ourselves from that hatred. And if people would do that sincerely and seriously in this world, then we will come to peace, to a peaceful situation. We will not find peace if we just take more weapons, more horrible rockets, and destroy the enemy. We sometimes think then we have peace. No, the peace will just only then come when our heart is becoming purified of hatred, of envy, of greed, and other negative qualities. That is the process, the purpose of the process of spiritual life. And the Vedas, for this age of Kali, the Kali Yuga, which is a very dark age where people get upset due to very little reasons, insignificant reasons. In this age of Kali, the best method of purifying our heart from hateful thoughts, enviousness, greed, and so on is Haryanama, Haryanama, Haryanama eva kevalam, kalau nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatya anyata. In this age of Kali, there is only one way to realize God and ourself as eternal spiritual soul, and that is by chanting, by glorifying the name of Hari. Or you can take, of course, any other name of the Supreme God. In your culture, in your religion, we are not sectarian. God understands every language on this planet, and he understands all the names for him. Actually, because God is unlimited, his names are therefore also unlimited. So God has unlimited, very beautiful names according to his unlimited godly qualities and pastimes. So that is the recommendation of the Bhagavad-gita regarding this horrible conflict we see today. And it is also for any other conflict and war suitable. And therefore, please take this message, this recommendation, please take it serious and share it with your friends, and hopefully it will spread to areas where there are wars and terrorism thoughts just right now. And my hope is that people are thinking twice, hey, what am I doing here? Better I am following a true spiritual path and bring happiness and auspiciousness to this world.
Hey, what do you guys think? Does the Bhagavad-gita give us the good answers and solution for those kind of horrible problems? Please write it in the comment section.
Thank you very much and see you later on this channel. Please subscribe and share and whatever you can do to spread the nice message. Hare Krishna.